Welcome to Zen in a Moment, episode 31, with Zen Crier to Brooke. I think this one that I'm about to share with you in the stress bucket, remember the stress bucket is worry, fear, anxiety, overwhelm, frustration, irritation, doubt, procrastination, impatience, and more. There's more in there. Out of what I did was I went through and I worked through each and every one of those and worked on why am I closed? I'm irritated and closed. How do I get out of this? What am I thinking? And I narrowed it down because a lot of these elements in the stress bucket come from a certain type of thinking. A lot of times we don't know what we're thinking. We have a reaction to something in our world. We're in it. Like I'm going to talk about irritation today. You're in irritation. And then you're so irritated because of the story that you're running that it can be difficult to step out, be the observer, look back on what's going on inside your head that's causing this closing and this emotional upset, and find the thoughts. So I found that if I could just be with the thinking and go, where is it? Where is it? What is it? What is it? And have a theme, I could know what questions to ask myself and let myself answer. And that answer would be a deeper root of the experience. And with irritation, I discovered that it's always with people. We have frustration with things and situations, and I'm going to get to that topic. But irritation is about a person. You're irritated with a person. It could be a guy that won't come over in line when you're trying to let him in, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting, and they're on their phone and they're not paying attention. You're irritated with the person, not the situation, that person. You know, when you're irritated with your spouse or your boyfriend or your child, you're irritated at the person. Okay. So then I was like, what is it that I'm believing? And what I came down to time and time again was my mind had a belief that the person could not change, would not change, is not interested in changing. They were going to continue to do this thing that made me unhappy. So now that you know that it's about a person, because you could just be walking around irritated, and then you realize, wait a minute, I'm irritated. It just happens. It just comes on you like a cloud. You're like, wait a minute, I'm irritated. All right, who am I irritated with? Now, it could take a little bit of time to figure out who you're irritated with. It could be that 2 hours ago you got an email on a Sunday from your boss, and they're asking you questions about something that they could have waited till Monday, and that they always interrupt your weekend, and they don't respect your time. But you don't do that. You respond to the email by going, ugh, and you go on with your life. I'm not going to answer them. But it's still there as a cloud in the background. So the key is that I found that unleashes the opening in these situations is that there is a belief that the person not willing to change. So in that, what is going on? What is going on? Now, many of you have heard my story about my husband and me and the trash. We used to live in a home where our trash was out by our garage, and our garage was separate from our home. And my husband would get all dressed to go and leave, and I would be on his way out to where the garage is. And I would say, hey, can you take out the trash? And he would always give me this horrible attitude. And it seemed really rude and unhelpful, and the trash is full, and I do a lot of things around the house because we're all busy, and I also like doing a lot of things around the house. And so what ended up happening is time and time again, he would put his stuff down on the counter in a jerky way, and he'd get the whole thing, the trashes together. We have a recycling and a trash. He'd take them out. He'd come back, be all frustrated, wouldn't want to talk to me. And then I would get all irritated, right? We're talking about irritation. I would get all irritated too and be like, God, this is ridiculous. All I did was ask him to take out the trash. And so one day, after a couple of years of this over and over and over, now I thought I was doing good because within 10 or 15 minutes, I'd let it go and go on with my life. Now I know, no way, none of that stays in your life. We got to handle it, get through it, and don't be irritated anymore. Figure out what it is. Don't just cover it up. Don't pretend it's okay. Really figure it out. So I realized all of a sudden as he's left and I'm using the blue scrubby sponge to scrub the counter off, and I'm like, heck with him, and why I don't ask him to do much around here. And all of a sudden I was like, oh my gosh, wait, I'm totally closed. What is going on? If all that was true, it would be opening. And I hit it. I was like, and I couldn't figure it out. I could not figure out how to turn it and pivot it into an opening. So I decided to ask him. So a couple days later, when all's calm and cool and everything looks good, I said, hey, I want to talk to you about taking out the trash. And immediately, he came up. Irritated too. So that means he thinks I'm not going to change. I'm like, huh. So I said, what is going on with you in the trash? Because you are helpful and you don't usually respond that way. He says, I'm all clean. I've taken a shower. I've got everything I need to go do whatever I need to do outside the house in my hands. And you asked me to do the trash. Of course I'm going to do the trash. I do what you asked me to do. I'm here to help. He set his stuff down on the counter, and then I have to take this grungy trash out. I have to touch the trash can, which is gross, which means I have to come back in and wash my hands. I've only put enough time in my schedule to leave the house at that moment and go and get to where I need to be. Now I'm going to be late. You know how I hate to be late. And then I have to put the dang trash bags back in the trash can. Otherwise I'm being rude and my fingers are fat and I can't tie the thing to make it work. And this whole thing puts me out 10, 15 minutes from what I need to get done. And it ruins my time. It ruins my leaving the house. It's very rude of you to ask me then. Ask me when I'm not leaving the house. Now I had thought, I didn't realize I was the one who was being a jerk. I had thought that I was being nice, that I was giving him do it when he was already on his way. I didn't have all this backstory. And you're right, my husband hates touching gross things. He's a very clean man. I totally got it. And I said, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize it. All I need is when the trash is full and you see it, please just take it out. Because I've got all kinds of stuff going on too. And it's one thing I'd love for you to handle. And to be fair, I will tie the trash bags because I tie them correct every single time. My fingers are just the right size. Irritation is when you think somebody can't or won't or is unwilling to change, and it's not true. It's closing. So who are you irritated with? What do you believe that they're not going to be able to change? And under that is the fear that if they don't change, you're always going to be unhappy. If they don't change, you're always going to be unhappy. So examine in your life. Look at the irritations. This is one of the drawbacks of having fear about a partner or a friend or a work situation or whatever it is. If you're irritated, go deeper. What is it? What do you believe they can or won't change? All right. I'm sending you love and blessings. This is a really fun one. It actually feels like a miracle when it happens. Sending you love and blessings. Have a great day. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my Zen in the Moments mini pods. I'm on a mission to eliminate mental fear in the human species. I truly know that the closing of our internal guidance systems is letting each and every human being on the planet know that what they're thinking is out of alignment with what is going to create love, harmony, compassion, discernment, and peace. And that if we all learn to follow our internal guidance system, discover our openings, we will be in flow and in harmony together, and we can create the world that we love. Now, this is not something we can do by ourselves. That is why I have created the Fear-Free Human Collective. The collective is a community of people who've come together to get training on how to use their internal guidance system. It is an amazing experience to be with a group of people who are looking at their closings, taking responsibility for them, and then working together to find openings. Because when those openings happen, magic and synchronicity are the norm. If you are interested in having a group of people who are going through this experience together and are changing their worlds to where, miracles become the norm and we can celebrate them together as we have an extraordinary life by influencing people with our opening and our love and our compassion, that I want to invite you to go to BeFearFreeNow.com, BeFearFreeNow.com, and become a member. We have a free level, a level that is $27, $47, and $97, depending on how deep you want to go with the training and how much coaching access you'd like to have, and to be in a group with me, to be able to be in a discussion with me on how are we going to make this happen on this beautiful, exquisite planet we live on. So please come check it out. I'd love to have you join the fun. Join us all at BeFearFreeNow.com. Thanks so much. I'm sending you love and blessings. Bye for now.